Alright everyone, welcome to another stream here for SyllaFX. So, it is November the 6th, 2022, and we are at the Asian session right now. We just started about 15 minutes ago. It's 8:14, 8:15 now, p.m. Eastern Time. So a couple things that we're going to touch on today. Going to go over some market analysis for the week, what I'm looking for as far as potential trades that are setting up, where price is currently in the market, and where I'm going to be looking for positions to take, potential positions to take. For this evening, for the start, for the upcoming London session, I've already kind of shared the setup, the entries that I'm looking for on about 4 of the currency pairs with the VIP student group in Discord. So if you're part of that, you'll be able to see the analysis, the levels, the direction, and the entry points that I set up for the places that I'm going to be looking to take positions. I may not be actually trading the London session, but for those of you who do stay up and actually trade at 3 a.m., at least for Eastern Time, if you guys are trading the London session, these are going to be entry points that to look for during that time frame. And if they don't happen during the London session, potentially looking for those during the New York session as well. And in the morning, at the beginning of the New York session, I will likely share additional analysis for the currency pairs. They don't take that long to set those up and get those shared out, so I'll likely share another set of those for the New York session that's upcoming, depending on what happens with this currency pair. Alright, so let me get a couple things set up here and then we'll get started on the analysis. And I apologize, my nose is a little stuffy now, so maybe coming down with something. If you are new to the stream, you're welcome to definitely ask any questions you guys have in the chat section here, or if you want to join the Discord group. I do have the free Discord group for the students. You can go to SyllaFX.com and join the Discord group from there. And if you want to join the VIP group in which I share my analysis and the every evening basically for the upcoming London and New York session, I'll put out the analysis for the currency pairs that I monitor. If you are part of the VIP student group, you're welcome to add additional currency pairs or instruments that you guys trade that you would like to have me perform analysis on as well, and I can get those shared out. That way you guys know where to look for trades for the upcoming sessions. I'm going to get these moved over a little bit out of the way. This is from the analysis that I did for the VIP student group. Might go through a couple of those and see if anything's actually setting up for this session for potential trades. If you guys do have any questions, definitely, like I said, you're welcome to ask your questions in the chat, and I'll do my best to get to you guys. Make sure everybody in the Discord has the the information first, and then we'll jump right into the analysis. I think this stream we're only going to have this for about an hour or so. So if you guys do have any questions, definitely go ahead and ask them now as you come in, and then we'll see what we got going on for potential trades. Alright, so like always, if you do keep up with the channel and the trading strategies that I use, which I typically implement 3 different trading strategies depending on where price is in the market and how it's moving. I would look between support and resistance trades on the major levels for the 4-hour. I will also look for supply and demand positions being set up, as well as trend trading. So right now we're actually in a pretty good setup for trend trading. So that's kind of the setups that I'm looking for here on the euro-dollar pair. Let me go ahead and remove some of these levels here, and we'll kind of go through a couple of the currency pairs that I typically monitor, and we'll see what setups are there and what I'm looking for. Like I said, if you guys got any questions, definitely post those in the chat. Alright, so as far as the general direction of this currency pair right now, I mean, for the most part, we've been pretty bullish. I do feel like we're gonna get quite a bit of rejection here at this major level on the 4-hour chart. So I would probably be looking for sell positions for a major move. But we still do have potential for buy entries to move up to that major resistance level up here on the 4-hour chart. Alright, so as far as the hourly chart, like I said, or the 4-hour chart, we're getting kind of close to that major resistance level up here. So as long as we are aware of this level here, that's where we kind of want to decide where we're going to take our positions. If we do get close to it, I would be looking for sales positions, because right now we're kind of in the middle between these 2 areas here. So if we go back down to about the 1-hour level, we definitely still have potential for buy positions to come in and move back up into that area. And if you look at the kind of the gap that we have, or the space that we have before we get to it, there's a good about 30 to 40 pips available that you could potentially take depending on where price goes. But if I'm looking, usually I'm taking my buy entries or my positions in general off the 15-minute chart. So first, I have my level set up off the 4-hour, and then when I move down to the 1-hour chart, I do have a direction that I'm looking for in general. Even though I'm saying yes on the 4-hour level, we're looking for sells once price touches up here. But right now, we're still in a bullish movement, and we haven't quite hit up there yet, and we're still about halfway in between these 2 levels. So what I would be looking for, honestly, because we're in an uptrend still at this moment before we get to that level, I will be looking for an entry position. And this is what I had set up previously, and I actually shared this with the student group on Discord. This is where my buy entry would be here for potential move all the way up to the top. I'll probably move this to about right here. So this is a good zone here that I'll be looking for if I'm going to take for buys. So yes, we are generally in an uptrend, but if price can definitely retrace and come all the way back down, either to this level or to this level. So what I would be looking for is to see how price reacts to this level once it gets back to here, if it gets back to here. As long as we get similar to what we got on these rejections here, if it does come all the way back down, and well, let's get maybe one or two of these wicks into that zone, then I would be looking for a buy position, and that would give us plenty of room to really make a little bit of profit before we get into that resistance level up there off the 4-hour chart. So I mean, we have about 70 pips that you could take. I would only aim for maybe about 60, 50 of that. That would be a pretty good move for me, and stop loss will be right at the bottom of that zone, depending on where exactly the wicks are. So let's say a wick comes all the way down to the bottom of that zone, then I would put my stop loss before that, below that wick. But if it's just kind of in the middle of the zone, then I would go ahead and just leave my stop loss below the zone itself. And then, so we would only be looking at maybe 16 to 18 pips as the stop loss there. So a pretty good 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio that you could actually take off of this one here. So if we leave that there, so basically during the Asian session we might not see this trade actually happen, but if you're going into the London session, this is something that you would definitely want to be looking for. One mistake you don't want to make is to be trading against the trend. You want to kind of go with it at least until it gets to a major level and shows rejection that it wants to come back down. So in the meantime, we're going up. A lot of buying power from the end of last week, pushed it all the way up here. And as you can see, we're kind of seeing a little bit of a retracement back down to that zone. So if we get all the way down there, that's where I'm looking forward to do a buy entry. So good 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio, about 50 pips in play that you could potentially take off of that one. So be on the lookout for that. And that would literally only really put you at this previous high here. So you're not really, and it may end up being like a pretty fast move. So it may not be a lot of waiting that you'll be doing here, depending on how fast price starts to move in. So not bad at all. And I'll jump into the dollar yen in a moment here and do some analysis on that. So if you guys got any questions, definitely ask me in the chat. Alright, so let's take a look at the dollar yen, see what we got going on for that one. Alright, so the general direction on this one honestly is still moving down. We did get to a major support level here. So let's see what we got. Yeah, I mean, we've broken below that support level. Price did kind of move back above it. So I'm still looking at a general down position. As far as I can tell, I'm pretty confident that it's going to keep pushing down on this one here. But as far as the 4-hour chart is concerned, we know where our levels are. We know where price is going to be expected to react, or when we want to look for a position to enter in or exit out. So a lot of breaks of the major support here, even though we're pushing up against it. this still looks like sell positions here to me. So what I would do is look at the rejection on this one here, and we want to see how price reacts to this level for potential move back down. So initially what I was looking at is, let's see, we had broke below this level here before, and then we came back above it, tested this high, rejected, and came all the way back below it again. And then we kind of did the same thing, not quite up to the very top here, but it pretty much came back down to that level one more time. So what I was looking for is potentially price to stay below this level, come back and reject off of this one, and then start moving down. Now, the part that I want to make sure that everybody understands in regards to the analysis is that you always want to wait for confirmation that price wants to go in the direction that you're buying or selling in, right? So with this instance here, when we had the sell-off that broke below the major support level, and we closed out a few different times below the major support or the major resistance here, you wait for price to come back into that zone, and then you want to pretty much see how it reacts to that level. Does it break above it like a lot, like it did on this one here, which pretty much throws the entire sell position away. If price would have came into the zone and maybe rejected a couple times, gave us a couple of wicks, but not necessarily break all the way above it like it did on this one, then we would still be looking for a valid sell position. Unfortunately, that didn't happen here. Price broke way above it, even though it gave us a nice rejection. That's way too far above for price to go above that level for it to still be holding to a sell that it wants to continue moving down. So since that doesn't adhere to it, the sell position is out of the picture. Always want to look for those rejections and get confirmation that price wants to move into that direction. If you don't get that, then you don't take the trade. Let price do what it needs to do and see how it's reacting and where it's going from there. Alright, so now as far as right now, I mean, the dollar yen, we kind of got a double bottom forming here, so there's potential for a continuation to move up. Seems like at least during this session we got quite a bit of buying come in, and then a higher low created here, and it seems like it's going to break for another higher high. So while we're in between these two zones, we kind of want to wait to see what it does here. Is it just going to consolidate during the New York set or the Asian session? Is price just going to go up and down between here? But these are the two main levels we're looking at here. I really would not be looking for a buy or a sell at this moment because we don't have really a good direction. Price didn't continue down to make a lower low, and it hasn't broken these highs yet. So these are the two taps here in the zone that's created that I'm looking for price to either needs to come up here and then either come back down and then retest to continue moving back up, or if we're looking at the 1 hour chart, this looks like a downtrend to me, a potential for it to move down. So what we could be looking for as well is price to come back down below here again and kind of do the opposite, basically come back into that zone, retest, and then as long as we get those confirmation candles that it wants to reject that level, then you would look for either a sell position here or a buy position up here. So it just depends on what price does. Nothing really clear as of yet because I got a feeling we're going to kind of consolidate between these two levels. So we really just want to wait and see what price does as far as the dollar yen is concerned. Yeah, so unfortunately, I mean, I was originally looking for a sell position, but price pushed all the way back up above that zone, and as it came back down, it rejected and started moving back up. So we're no longer looking for sells. I really don't have a bias on buys or sells just yet as far as the dollar yen is concerned, but As far as the euro dollar, then I'm definitely waiting and wanting price to come back down to the zone. This is the only zone that I would take a buy from. Otherwise, price makes it all the way up to this major resistance level, then we'll see how it reacts to that level. If it shows the rejections a couple times, then I would be looking for sales. But right now, the bias is buy positions on the dollar yen, or sorry, on the euro dollar. But dollar yen can just kind of do what it needs to do, and we'll get back to that one and see if anything sets up. All right. So the Aussie dollar, let's talk about this one here, because I did have a couple of analysis set up on that one looking for buy positions, and this kind of goes back to the same thing of you want to wait for confirmation that price wants to go in the direction that you think it's going to go into. If you don't get that confirmation, you do not take the trade. So it's as simple as that. You don't want to kind of trick yourself into seeing something that's not there. So let's talk about what's set up here and why I was looking for buy positions. So first and foremost, we'll go into the 4-hour chart, make sure our levels are clear. Got rejection, rejection, rejections here. So this is a major support. Got rejection, and price is pretty much staying below this high here, So that's a resistance level on the 4-hour chart. So our levels are good. We're fine there. Now we want to look at the general direction that price is going through as of recently. And right now, we're in an uptrend. So a lot of buying volume to kind of close out Friday, last Friday here. So we're still kind of looking at that and going with that bias. Again, I apologize all the sniffling and stuff. Kind of coming down with something. So but if we're looking at the 1-hour chart, like I said, general bias is that we're moving up right now. So we're looking for buys, and as you can see, prices already went above and closed out above this high here. We haven't quite broke above here, but that'll be like our target. That's why I have a like a buy position set up waiting, and this will be the high that I will be aiming for on that one if we do get the right action to show that it wants to buy in. It's only like 8:37 right now, so if we go down to the 15-minute chart, let's see what we have. So yeah, I mean, right now the bias for me is still buys. Just kind of want to see how price reacts. So on Friday, like towards the morning time, before like 1 or maybe like noon or so, as price was pushing up, I set up this level here as a resistance or a support level for it to potentially bounce off of and continue its move up, based on trend trading strategy on that one. I had already stopped looking at the chart at this time, and it was already like it was almost like 12 o'clock, I believe, when it was in this area on Friday. And I was not looking to take a trade during that time, that late in the session and on the Friday. But price kind of did exactly what I would expect to do if you're looking for a buy position on that. And this would have been a winner for you if you took something like this. So basically just following the trend, guys. Like you're moving up, a lot of buying power coming in, and then you break above here, you create a high, and then you come back down and test whatever low this is coming from here. So as we continue moving up and we pushed above this high, we have a zone that's set up where you show that you have rejection there. So you set up a temporary support level based on trend trading there, and you see and wait if price actually comes all the way back down to that zone. And it does happen to come back to that zone here, and then what you want to do is basically wait. See that price wants to reject that level and confirm that it wants to continue back upward. If you don't get confirmation that it wants to go up, you do not take the trade. You need that confirmation. Otherwise, price could have literally just kept pushing down. There's nothing telltale sign saying that it wants to move down until you get those confirmations like here. You get a halt in the price here. You get kind of like a doji here. Quite a bit of rejection. These will be valid rejections that I would be looking for here. So you got a tail here and another tail here. You could have actually honestly taken a buy position at maybe this point on the second candle closure here. Set your stop loss below this wick, so about 16 pips of stop loss, and then you were aiming for almost a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio, basically just to this high here. This would have been a good trade for somebody to take. If you waited a little bit, that would have been hit for the 47 pips, just right at the highs here. And as you can see, price started to stagnate and then come all the way back down. But you've been out of the trade at that point, would have had a winner. And this would have been a good one on a Friday. And I think it ended up at, what, 3 o'clock on Friday? So not a couple hour trade there, 2-3 hours. Because once you started moving up, you never came back down to retest. You never came back down to your break even. So honestly, you could have, once you got up to about this level here, you could have moved your stop loss to break even and had a risk-free trade at that point. Price never came back down to retest it, and just leave it open and let it ride all the way up to that previous high. That would have been a winner there. So kind of the same thing that we were looking for here as price came back down to that level again. Now, again, I repeat this all the time because you don't want to make the mistake of not waiting for confirmation. You want to wait for price to halt in that zone. If this is the zone you're looking for entry, see what price does in that area. You want to get the rejections. You want to get it to slow down in that area, and then give you one or two wicks is good enough for you to take a buy position and to set up your stop loss right below those wicks. And if you would have got that, it would have been a valid position to take a buy here. But in this case, we don't get that confirmation, right? Just like we did here, we got the wicks. Just like we got wicks here, we didn't get any wicks on this one here. So this would not be a valid buy position here. You wait and see what price wants to do and react to that level. So even though price came all the way back down here, it pushed right below it, closed below it, no rejection, no nothing. It's just kind of consolidating for a moment there. And then comes right back above, comes right back below. There's nothing clear there that says it wants to take a buy position. So initially, yes, I did have this set up here to take, at least to look for a buy position if we get that confirmation that price wanted to reject. We don't get that, we don't take the trade. Simple as that. Just leave it at that and move on, basically. You don't want to force yourself to see something that's not there. You don't want to force yourself to take something ahead of time. You want to wait for the confirmation. Otherwise, you're just giving yourself a low quality trade at that point. So you don't want to guess at what price wants to do. You want to basically wait for price to tell you what it wants to do and what direction it wants to go in. So as of right now, I mean, it almost seems like it's gonna start pushing down, because that was quite. I would honestly ignore this fast movement because this is right at the open today, so I wouldn't worry too much about this movement here. This is not really a predictor of much. I mean, right at 5 o'clock at the open, nah, I'll throw that away anytime. So got a couple tops here. So what I would really look for is, let's say we have this bottom here. And since we broke below this area, let's go ahead and minimize this a little bit back to here, where we actually took the, where this would have been a valid position at that point. And then we set up pretty much a zone that we want to see price break out of. Because as long as it's within this channel here, there's no valid trade to look at. You don't know if it's going to keep pushing up because it's not making lower lows yet. It's not making higher highs yet. So you don't know where price wants to go. It's just pretty much consolidating at this point. Just be patient and wait to see what it does. We can either have it come above here, close, come back and retest, and depending if we get the confirmation that it's rejecting, just like it got the wicks here or the wicks here, you want to see those rejections. And then if you get those, then you could potentially have a buy position at this level to move it back up here and continue moving. If not, let's see if we break down. This would be a low quality trade, but let me explain why I wouldn't take this as a sell position. Even if price came back down below here and closed below this zone and came back up, and let's say it did something like this and started to push back down, this would be a sell position, right? Technically, yes, but this would be a low quality trade because you're only giving yourself about a 30 pip window for movement. And typically when I'm taking a trade, I'm gonna exit out of the trade well before the major support and resistance zone here, this yellow line here. So even if there was a valid sell position here, I would only be aiming for like 20 pips. And if I'm only going for like 20 pips, that may not really be worth it depending on where my stop loss is going to be. So if I was doing something like this, and my stop loss is going to be above, like right around this area, I need at least a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. So that puts me over 30 alone. So about here, and that's way too close to the major support level for me to take that as a sell position. So even though it may be a valid sell and it may actually get to that support level and actually go into it and close it out, this is, for me, this is a low quality trade because there's not much room for it to do what it needs to do. So I would not take this as a valid sell position, even though you potentially could if you're only aiming for like 20 pips, but that's not worth it to me. So I wouldn't even be going for that. I would want to see price pretty much, like I said, go up above here, close up, come back down, retest, give me the confirmation, the rejection wicks for it to move back up, and then take a buy position to keep moving. Outside of that, I don't see anything valid as of yet. And if you look at the way the charting is, you got plenty of room up here for it to come all the way up here. So even on the 1 hour chart, let's say we had price come up here, break, close, retest, and bounce off of that, you're giving yourself about 70 pips room there. So you can aim for like 50, 60 pips. That'd be a really good risk to reward ratio on that one. High quality trade. So but right now we're pretty much just wanting to see what price does in that area. See what, if it moves up, breaks above, and retests. If not, we'll just see what it does. Let's check back on the euro dollar. Yeah, so it's not quite coming down just yet to that level, so we'll see what it does. So kind of the same thing here. Let's see. Nothing clear yet. We're still kind of in between these two channels. Now this will be a good one if it did break below here, because if it breaks below this channel, then it's breaking below the major support level as well. And this will be quite a move down if it did produce that setup here. But on this one, just pretty much just buys. See what price does. Yeah. Let's take a look at the pound dollar. This will be a good one for you guys to monitor for the London session coming up, though. We'll do a little bit of analysis on that in just a moment. It's a strong movement up there, so that might be pushing up. Well, so as far as the pound dollar, we already came down to a major support and bounced off of it. Got quite a bit of movement going up. We're at a temporary level here that seems to be rejecting a bit. So we know where our major levels are. Came right down to this low that was broken before. It seems to be rejecting that. So what I would do, this would actually been a good one for you guys to take a sell position on. I mean, a basic reaction to a level here. Price came all the way down to a major, bounced, stagnated, came back. Liquidity spike into it and came right back above, and this was, I'm pretty sure this was during news event as well. So, and then this low that was previously broken, price literally, I mean, this is like simple clear-cut market structure, as basic as it gets. Comes right into that level, hesitates and then start moving down away from it. This would have been a good sell off for just support and resistance here. Now, my only hesitation about that, because even though, yes, this may have been a valid sell position, you're going against the direction of the current market. So I would only be looking for buy positions. And I believe, was this Friday when I was live streaming in the morning? Yeah. So I was doing a stream on Friday during New York session where I had marked out this setup here, and I didn't take this trade though because I didn't get the confirmation that I was looking for. But since we had that liquidity spike here, bounced off the major level, a lot of buying power coming in, broke above these highs, I was looking for basically a continuation of the trend trading. So set up a level here, price broke and closed above it, came back down to retest it. Now the only problem about this is that I didn't get confirmation that it wanted to reject that level. So I did not take this trade because there wasn't like a closure with a wick into the level. There wasn't one or two. So the way this ended up moving is price pretty much closed right into the zone and then started moving right away from it. So it technically it did what I was looking for it to do, but I didn't get the actual confirmation that are part of my trading rules in order for me to take a buy position there. So yes, it played out. I didn't take it because it didn't give me confirmation that it wanted to move up. So for those that do trade support and resistance and trend trading, this would have been a good trade for you guys to take. That was an easy 70 pips off of that one, the pound dollar. So on a Friday at that, so that would have been a great trade. But I didn't take that one. So the next thing that I'm honestly looking for is price to basically come back down into the zone again and see how it reacts to it. Hopefully we get something like a nice little rejection like this blue candle here with the wick. That's exactly what I'm looking for here to take a valid trade. Comes here, gives me a nice wick and closes positive. This is a perfect confirmation to take a buy position. If we get something close to that in this zone, then I'll be looking for a buy position for an easy 70 pips again. So we'll see what happens there though. And this is probably something that would set up during the London session at 3 a.m. So we're still a few hours away from that. So I can almost guarantee I'm not going to be up for that. So I'll probably miss that depending on what price does during that session. But I'll be taking a look at it in the morning for the New York session. Alright, so we're going to look at one more currency pair. We're going to do another analysis on that. Then I'll probably wrap this up here because I'm probably not going to take any trades during Asian session. It's not usually the market that I trade, at least the time frame that I trade. Sometimes I'll stay up for the London session, and then most of the time it's New York. So. Now, nothing there. Pretty much just waiting for price to get to a zone. Let's see. Let's take a look, see what AJ has. Aussie yen. So on the 4-hour levels, we got a bottom out here, majors here. This one has kind of been a little bit hesitant, but I will still hold this as a valid level. And then another. May not really apply as of yet, but this will be a good level to be considerate of. And okay, so let's see what direction we have. So technically, I mean, we're still uptrending, but I believe this was like at the open of the market though. Is this the end? If this was at market open, I would ignore this move here. Nothing valid about that. It's 5 p.m. Candles are irrelevant to me, so. So as far as this is concerned, I'm still looking for buy positions there. So what I would do, yeah, I mean, this is the only valid level that I would take a buy off of here and move into this resistance level here. So how much of a window is that? About 60 pips, so 45 to 50 pips valid to take on that one. That's what I would be aiming for there, to be honest. So we go down to the 15-minute. So basically what I drew up here, wait for price, and this was what, on Friday? Yeah. Wait for price to get all the way down into this level, and looks like we're kind of making our way there. So we had a high here, and then it broke this low, This came down to this level, created a lower high, and we're likely going to come down at least into this level. And then once we get there, we pretty much want to wait to see what price does in that area. So this same movement that I was looking for on Friday is probably going to happen now, at least going into the London session. So that's what I would be looking for, and then look for potential buy right here at the top of that level, because we want to, like I said, want to get that nice rejection just like this, nice little rejection candle into that zone and close above it, and then take a buy position there. Set up the stop loss below the wick. So about a good 16 pips, 15, 16. So 1 to 2 risk reward ratio, 30. I mean, honestly, this could be a 1 to 3. Okay, yeah, about 50 pips there. 1 to 3 risk reward ratio would be a good one. That's the setup there. The pound, the Aussie yen. And this looks like it's actually going to play out because the way it's setting up the movement here. High, lower high. This movement breaks all this structure here. We're going to come down and probably stagnate a little bit. It just depends on what it does at that level. Like I said, always wait for the confirmation, the wicks that you want to actually reject that level and continue moving back up. As long as we get that, this will be a good buy position for me. But I think that's the only other pair that I'm doing analysis on. So typically when I'm trading during the New York session, I'm looking for the euro dollar, the pound dollar. Well, no, not pound dollar. I'm looking at the euro dollar, the dollar yen, and the Aussie dollar. So those are the three main pairs that I'll take a look at to trade during the New York session. If nothing is actually setting up with those, which is usually pretty unlikely, just got to be patient with it. If not, then I'll look at the other pairs like the pound dollar, the pound yen, and the Aussie yen. Sometimes even the euro yen, depending on how price is moving on those currency pairs. But yeah, I'll stick to the main three for now. If nothing is there, then I'll take a look at those. But outside of that, I mean, if you guys are interested in learning the trading strategies that I utilize, whether it's support and resistance, supply and demand, and trend trading, I do offer the course on SyllaFX.com. The course is $1. I mean, if you guys are looking into going into trading like that or interested in furthering your education on it, definitely check it out. Worthwhile at least taking a look at the basic structures, the basic movement, the strategies and rules that I implement to stay consistently profitable. As you can kind of tell, even though I'm using TradingView, no indicators, no nothing. I mean, literally just market structure and price action. That's literally it. I keep it very simple, very basic, a clean chart, set up my levels, and set up my entry points where I'm looking to take a trade, and that's it. Nothing complicated about it at all. Outside of that, though, if you guys do not want to do the course, you're welcome to join the free Discord community. You can go to SyllaFX.com as well. The link is going to be in the description. They'll literally, like, here, if you go to SyllaFX.com here, let me spell this. You can either click on to get the course, or you can go to the free Discord community right here, just on the home page. Very simple, easy. Join at least the free community, ask your questions there, and just mingle and pick the brains of other traders that are in the group that trade on a daily basis and use the basic market structure and price action to trade. No indicators, no anything, just very simple, clear to the point. Outside of that, I do also have a private VIP students group in which I do the market analysis. Every evening, I basically will do market analysis on the major pairs that I take a look at. That'll typically be about the 6 major ones that I look at. That'll be the dollar yen, euro dollar, Aussie dollar, and then the other 3, the pound dollar, Aussie yen, and pound yen. So I'll do analysis on all 6 of those pairs, basically every evening before the start of the London session and going into the New York session. So it'll be, and I can actually show you guys kind of what it would look like. So I don't provide specifically like signals for people to take a trade. I don't tell people when to trade and what currencies to trade exactly. What I basically do is implementing my basic trading strategy. I will go ahead and mark up the major levels on a 4-hour chart. So like for instance, the pound dollar I did earlier, I'll mark up the 4-hour chart with the major levels, and then we'll look at the 1-hour chart to see what direction price is going in, and then also set up where I'm looking for entry points exactly as I did in the video here, except I don't do the live streams every day. Typically I'll try to do a live stream on Sunday evenings, Tuesday evenings, and Thursday evenings, and then I also have the live trading session I do on Fridays during the New York session, and that's typically for the VIP students as well. But outside of that, if you are part of the VIP students group, basically every evening going into the London session and the New York session, you will also have the market analysis that I perform and the exact positions that I'm looking to take trades on the currency pairs. If you do join the community, you're definitely welcome to throw in extra currency pairs that you want to have analyzed. It doesn't take long for me to do this, but I'm no problem adding additionals to the list. Get those provided on a nightly basis before the major sessions start, and to kind of give you guys an idea of what levels to look for and what direction to actually go with. Make sure you're avoiding counter trend trading. I know out of the live sessions that I've done, I always have people that do, they may say, I mean, I took a couple of trades here and there, but I lost them. And then when I analyze them, I noticed that, okay, you're trading against the trend here. That's just one simple mistake you can avoid doing. Just go with the trend. Be patient and see if price gets back to a certain level. And if it does, look for it to continue that trend. Something as basic as that. I mean, you don't need any indicators. It's like I said, just market structure and price action. Mark up your levels and be done with it. Keep it simple. If a trade is not there, don't take it. Wait for price to do what it needs to do. Get to a level that you know it's going to react to. Wait for it to confirm that it's going to do so, and then go in that direction with it. So that's as basic as I try to keep it, guys. I mean, very simple, clear-cut instructions. Like I said, I provide this analysis for a few of the different major pairs that I trade, and this is going to be on a nightly basis, basically. So mark up the levels, look at the directions, and look for the entry points. You know, keep it simple, clear to the point here. So this is going to be offered to the VIP student groups. Outside of that, you're welcome to join the free Discord community group and ask questions, communicate with the other traders, anything like that. Again, like I mentioned, the course is available for $1 on SyllaFX.com. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, definitely like and subscribe to the channel. Ask your questions there. So thanks for joining me on this live stream, and I'll see you guys. Probably will perform some analysis in the morning for a New York session, but most of that's going to be for the VIP students group. So we'll do recaps and market analysis if I take any trades tomorrow, and I'll get to post it to YouTube. Thanks for watching.